about very important matter, right? So in this scenario, it's a very small video. I'm going to make it about the BRICS, right? About the BRICS, and the BRICS will control the world of finance in year 2050, right? That's my question. What do you think about it, right? Uh, right? The question whether BRICS will control the world's finance after 2050 is a complex matter, right? And with the various projections and significant challenges BRICS facing and US are also facing, right? And the broader group of like emerging economics. So this is all about today's video, all about the economics, and certainly is poised like a substantial economic growth, an increased of influence, override the control of the global finance, more speculative and the less certain outcome, right? So it will, I think, in 2050 and 2070, most probably after another 45 years, China and India will control the world, right? World finance. I'm 100% sure about it, right? So it will overpass the US economy by 2040, and China will be the third largest economy and the world's most powerful country, right? So this is like a just my personal prediction. I don't know, but I'm 100% sure it will come as per my prediction, right? So here is a breakdown, but you can say some kind of a key considerations like economic projections. BRICS is growing shares of the global GDP, right? Like a significant growth. Most major economics forecast, like the you can say from those who has PwC, Goldman Sachs, right? And the project of that economics of the BRICS countries, particularly China and India, will grow significantly by 2050, right? And the China, when it comes to China, when you talk about China, it's widely expected the surplus surpass the US as the largest economy in the world in PPP terms as well before the 2050, and also potentially in market exchange rate terms, right? And when it comes to India, right? When it comes to India, India also playing a global role, right? And it's this projected to become the third largest economy globally by 2050, right? So when I say it's significantly ahead of many traditional G7 nations in 2050, like another 25 years, right? So the combined of GDP and the BRICS countries, including the recent additions like Iran, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and the Egypt and Ethiopia, right? So so in this case, already accounts the substantial portion of global GDP, around 40%, and PP terms of 2024, right? And compared the G7 countries in 28%, right? So shifting the economical power, it's not an easy thing, right? So it will take some time, but it has to be done, and it will be done within 2050. It means another 25 years, right? No matter whatever US does, it will happen definitely, because long time ago US had to plan it. They didn't plan it. They did not have any economic plans in early 80s and early 90s. So this is the issue now they are facing. So shifting economic power is not an easy thing, and it's not a overnight thing, right? And the overall trend, it indicates the clear of the shift the global economic gravity towards the emerging markets. By 2050, several emerging economies, including the some BRICS members and the others like Indonesia, Mexico, and Turkey, they are expected to be among the world's largest, right? So this is a significant issue, right? It's a growing issue. And also financial influence. When it comes to the financial influence, challenging to dollar dominance and alternative systems. Alternative systems should we have to have, right? So that's how. Do you remember the Cold War? When it comes to the Cold War, when we were at the Cold War time and early 70s, late 70s and late 80s and early 90s, 1991 up until. So you can see some technological advancement things in the world by USA and by Russia, USSR at that time, and de-dollarization efforts. So that then only the United States, US will open their eyes and they gotta do something before that, right? And the BRICS nation have explicitly, like I stated, their desire to create a trade and financial system less reliant on the US dollar. It includes like initiatives like local currency trade, alternative payment systems, right? And also potential for a BRICS currency. Potential for a BRICS, BRICS, BRICS currency. When it comes to the local currency trade, promoting trade settlement in international currencies and alternative payment system. When it comes to alternative payment systems, right? Uh, Developing systems like China's CEIPS and Russia's SPTS also, and it's developing BRICS Pay, like alternative SWIFT and the dollar-based transaction, right? So so it will have its own values, right? And the decisions and the discussions have been emerged about the common BRICS currencies for trade and investments, and although that is highly complex undertaking and significant hurdles, right? So you know in the U.S. think tanks and the Indian think tanks and also the Chinese think tanks, they already has been very alert about it, right? Because in the Goldman Sachs in 2000, it has been predicted in 2050 China will overpass the US, right? And the CDBCS developments, it's a central bank digital currencies and by the various nations, including the BRICS members, could offer the new avenues for the cross-border payments, and that bypass the traditional dollar-centric economic system, and also challenges to the BRICS control. Also, they do face, right. Despite the strong economic growth and de-dollarization aspiration, like aspirations, several factors make outright control of the global finance BRICS in 2050 unlikely, like internal disunity and rivalries, like India-China rivalry, like India pulling the trigger and China pulling the trigger. There are some issues between the India and China because, to be honestly, I don't like China. I'm not a pro-Chinese. I don't like China. Like the way what they have done to Sri Lanka and what they have done to the world. Right? And regarding the Kashmir issue and regarding the Indian border controls issues, and also in the Gangtok and Himachal Pradesh and all these areas, the issues and how they are fueling anti-Indian protesters and also these kind of things, and also Arunachal Pradesh issues, and also especially for the Tibetans, what they have done in 1947, right? So what they have done to Sri Lanka and this kind of China is copying others' technology and they are developing. So we have to be very careful, right? The Indian-China rivalry, it's a geopolitical and economic rivalry between the China and India is a significant internal challenge. Also, we have to understand that, and also they have a border disputes, as I said you, and competing ambitions for a regional and global leadership, right? So US have an advantage on that, right? And hectare, heterogeneity of the members, heterogeneity of the members means expanding the BRICS includes the countries with the vastly different political systems, like the democracies and the autocratic monarchies, like authoritarian regimes, like we have in Pakistan, authoritarian regimes, right? Economic structures and also geopolitical interests, and also reaching the considers like a complex financial reforms can be it's been very difficult, right? And also existing disputes what is the existing disputes, like the new members, for example Iran, like the new members also bring their own disputes, like Egypt and Ethiopia have their Nile over the Nile Dam, and Iran historically have issues with the UAE and Saudi Arabia, some religious issues, some cultural issues, some economical issues. They have a lot of issues. So US have to be very careful. If Donald Trump and the US, if they do not act now, they will be lose forever. Or they almost lose now. They almost lost. I mean, they lost already, right? And the institutions' weaknesses, like the rules of law and the capital markets, which is another challenge. This is another big challenge for any currency actually to challenge the dollar's reserves status, and it needs like in deep liquid capital markets and strong rules of laws, and also and the transparent governance. Like China, despite these its economic sizes, it still lacks of institutional frameworks and also capital markets openness, and they are underpaid of the dollar's dominance, right? And if you see the trust and the predictability, also the transparency and the predictability of the U.S. institutions and the policies, despite the occasional challenges, and contribute to the dollars and also reliability as a global reserve currency, right? So other nations would need to build their the similar levels of trust, right? So China has a great challenge of that, and China's political system is challenging, right? Yeah, political system, right? Also enrich the dollar system, like in dollar's role, it's deeply embedded to the global trade and finance and the commodity markets. Also, it benefits from network effects, liquidity, and also established infrastructure like a SWIFT, right? So the shifting away from this system would be like a gradual, a decades-long process. Like it's not a sudden overhaul, right? And G7 resilience and the adaptation also have within the G7, like you can say the shares of the global GDP may shrink, and these economies remain technologically advanced and innovative and have a strong institutional frameworks, and also they are likely to adapt. They are maintain the significant influences, right? So last month there was a G7 members they gathered, and they wanted to talk about it, and also development challenges. So many BRICS nations, they have like while growing rapidly, still face the significant internal challenges such as income inequality, like the demographic shifts and environmental issues. Also they have, and also they need to for further institutional reforms sustain the long-term growth. Still more time to go, right? Still more time to go. Like when it comes to the conclusion, by 2050, BRICS and other emerging economies will undoubtedly will far gather economics weight and expert considerably more influence over the global finance governance than they do today. So we are mostly likely to see a more multipolar financial system, not a unilaterally and unipolar, right? So with increased use of the national currencies and the potentially new digital payment systems they have, right? However, controls implies a level of dominance that seems improbably given the internal explicities of the BRICS and enduring the strength of the established Western financial system, and also inherited the difficulties of the rapidly building alternatives and universally trusted financial infrastructure. So I think globally financial landscape in 2050 is likely to be characterized greater diversification and competition, right? So that's all about today, and I hope you enjoy this video. We will see you another great video. Bye bye. Have a great day.